Good. So you're live now on the Kirk Minihane show. Nice to meet you. Normally, I said this earlier, I am podcast wonderful, but I'm gonna hand that over to you today out of respect. I think you've earned that. You've earned that right.
Either that or pay me a royalty. What do you want to do?
Oh, I would love to pay you a royalty. I would love to negotiate that. I want $1 a mic until 50,000 mics sold, and then we'll call it a day.
Well, that's why they call you Mr. Wonderful, really.
So explain to me how the show works, and I'm a huge fan of the show. And of you. You're my favorite shark by far. How are you guys going to pull off a live edition of the show? Because I would imagine the average pitches takes forever, no?
Yeah, you've nailed it. That's going to be the big issue. So, the key to this is to realize in a pitch, in a live show, you're probably going to get about 8 minutes. Mm-hmm. Normally, a Shark Tank pitch is about 45 minutes to an hour and 10, and then it gets edited down to 8 minutes. Right. So these contestants are coming into a whole different format, which I think is going to be really interesting. We've been rehearsing it. And what I love about it is just sheer chaos because you're on live TV. You got 100 million eyeballs, including syndication. Don't screw it up because there's no way to edit it. You screw it up, sorry, it's over. And so I look at it and say, this is going to be the toughest pitch they've ever done in their lives. And no matter how many times you rehearse this stuff, because I've seen this happen for 14 years on Shark Tank. You're sitting in front of a mirror for months getting ready for your big moment. But this is a whole different deal. I mean, you're going to walk out there, 26 cameras, a live audience. I think the shit's going to hit the fan. I think this is going to be fantastic TV.
What is the longest, if you may know this, what is the longest pitch you guys have ever had to sit through? Has there been one that's been 3 hours, 4 hours?
No. The longest pitch was 1 hour and 43 minutes by a real asshole.
Okay.
It's so frustrating, just brutal. But the product had merit. The guy was an idiot. So that was the problem.
Which one was this? I assume it made air.
It was a product called Toppers, and it was basically a very simple idea. You finish your meal, your steak's half eaten. Yep. And you want to stick it in the fridge till tomorrow, which is what every millennial's doing, in their condo, particularly during the pandemic.
Right.
This guy had designed a vacuum sealed topper. You just stick right on the plate. It fit 90% of the plates.
Yep.
And it was a great idea. And he had a huge order from Walmart, just a huge order. But his valuation was just stupid. It was just stupid because at the end of the day, it's going to get knocked off. And, it's not high tech. It's just a piece of plastic. It sits on a plate, but it was a good idea. And that's what we find in Shark Tank. You just don't know what's going to walk through that door. You have no idea. We don't get to see it beforehand. We have no idea what's going to walk through there. We're in discovery like you are as the audience. And sometimes the craziest ideas make hundreds of millions of dollars.
Sure. Do you get as angry? Well, I know you do. I am very into the show. I get very angry. So when somebody comes in, the music starts playing. I'm all excited. I'm watching with Harry Minihane, my son, who's a huge fan of yours. He's 10 years old. He doesn't swear, but he wants to be able to swear so he can do the impression of you calling Manish an asshole and telling him "fuck you." He loved that. That's one of his favorite moments.
I don't say that on live TV. That's not family values.
I understand that, but you did say it to him on the episode, so I appreciate that. But he's not saying it yet.
Oh, they beat that. Well, that guy was a total dick. 100%.
That was a great moment. That was one of your best moments of all time, though. And you said, "You're an asshole. Get the fuck out of here." Great moment, right?
I did say that.
Yes,
I did say that, and all of it was true. He was an asshole, and he should get the fuck out of there.
So, I agree.
So
when somebody rolls in there, though, and I'm watching, and the guy comes in, or the woman comes in, or the couple comes in, and they say, "Hey, Sharks, whatever, we're from wherever, Greenville, Ohio. We have this company, and we want $800,000 for 2% of the company." Get the fuck out of here with that. Like at that point, in your mind, are you already crossing them off, or are you thinking? Do you still have an open mind, or does your mind close immediately when that happens?
So here's the risk they've got. If they're asking for $800,000, we have no choice but to give them $800,000. Now, if the company's doing 10 million in sales or 20 million in sales, there's room to negotiate.
So you can't go low. So Kevin, you can't go lower than that. You can't.
No. That's the platform rule, and it's been in place for 14 years, and that makes the entrepreneur really think through that negotiation and have a plan ahead of time. I've invested way more than $800,000 in deals, but they were real companies. They basically have sales, and I don't have a problem doing that. But if you have no sales, it's just an idea, and you think it's worth $800,000 cash, you're screwed. No one's going to do that with you.
Right. What's the overall? I saw somebody ask Cuban this on one of these YouTube shows. Overall, would you say you're in total investments? Are you up? Are you down? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, no, believe me, I track it. So, you know, we have a whole team that manages this portfolio of over 57 private companies. And here's the thing we've all learned on Shark Tank. Okay, we're in the middle of the season 14 right now. I'm going to be shooting next week back in LA. I don't know what I'm going to see, but it's going to be amazing because each year the deal size gets bigger because people really want to tap into that massive social media platform, you know, 100 million plus eyeballs when you go through syndication. 8 minutes of primetime television to a third of the country. That's pretty powerful in terms of getting a product out there, and it reduces customer acquisition cost a lot. But whatever I think is the hot deal of the season, whatever I think is the number one winner that I bought and I put $300,000, $400,000 into, whatever, that's never the one that makes me back my money. I wait 2 or 3 years later, and it's some crazy piece of crap product that I thought was just a joke that ends up being a monster. And I'll give you an example. Just this year, there was a deal a few years ago called Base Paws, cat DNA.
I remember this. Yes.
You stick a swab up your cat's ass and you send it in, and it tells you, you know, what to feed it so you can extend its life by 30%. What a stupid idea! You can buy a new cat for $5. Why would you pay $29 for a DNA test? So I bought into it because it was so crazy, so dumb, so stupid. I thought. The company just sold for over 50 million cash last month.
Jesus.
Because who knew that pet DNA is smoking hot? There's 110 million cats in America. And the entrepreneur, the woman, was spectacular in building up this business. She got bought out by a biotech company that wanted to have her database of DNA. And it turns out that millions of people pay $29 to extend their cat's life. That I'm not one of them, but who cares? It was a fantastic investment. My point is, you just don't know. So you need diversification in how you spread your bets out there.
So I'm a huge fan of the show. I like personally, and maybe I'm in the minority, I don't know. I like when it's just the Sharks. To me, I don't need the A-Rod. I don't need the Gwyneth Paltrow. I like when there's, do you understand where I'm going to watch. I'll watch for sure because I like it, but I like the Sharks are, you, Barbara, you guys are my family. I don't need Gwyneth Paltrow coming in and taking Robert's spot. I get upset.
So, you know, the whole idea of a show that's lasted 14 years, which is unprecedented on television. That's like 1% of shows made. You got to hand it to the producers.
Oh, for
Disney,
sure.
ABC, Mark Burnett, Sony, all this, the alchemy of all these people coming together, and then the original Sharks. But the challenge we have as Sharks, when you get a guest shark on, and I used to care about this, I don't anymore. You want to be nice to them. They're guests. They're sitting there. You're trying to help them out on their first deal. Now I don't give a shit about any of that. If they can't handle it, screw them. I'll eat them alive anyways. I don't care. Because
that's the right attitude. You got to treat. Yeah, you got to treat Gwyneth Paltrow like she's Barbara, right? Like it's she's on the show. So if she's on the show, you got to treat her that way.
Listen, I welcome her like anybody else, but I'm going to eat her alive. So she better get ready for that.
Who is the so I think the other thing I like about the show is it does seem like, I'm sure it's not this agreement you guys had, but everybody is comfortable breaking each other's balls. You can kind of dump on each other, but it's in a good natured way. Is there ever been anybody in the show of the core group that it took a while for them to understand that, or was it kind of good from the get-go?
You know, this is one of those classic situations where we don't love each other as much as we used to. I mean, you know, we spend more time together than we do with our own families by the time this thing is over. At the end of the day, we're competitors. We respect each other. You have to respect the fact that everybody there is a self-made millionaire, billionaire, whatever it is. They did it on their own in different sectors of the economy. So I respect that. We don't have to be friends. We don't have to do another dinner together. We did it for 14 years already. So you have no social relationship with any of them off air? Oh, no. Listen, every time I'm in New York, I go to Barbara's place. She cooks me dinner. That's what happens. Okay. I'm happy to do that. We're friends, okay? But when we're in that moment of competition, you know, here's what happens. We've been doing this for so long, we don't see the cameras anymore. We're back in the Shark Tank. We're doing business. We have millions of dollars to put to work. We want the winner deals, and we're willing to compete. And so look, sometimes if it's clear to me that I can't get the deal myself, I'm going to cut a deal with Mark or somebody else because we're bidding the price up. We're better to go in together than we are to go crazy and drive the price up. Sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes the entrepreneur, as you say, know us like family, they know which shark they want. And so they hone in on that shark and see if they can kind of deal. It's all over the map on this stuff, which I think makes the show so compelling. I mean, you just don't know what's going to happen. And though we start our day at 5 a.m, and by the time we get back to the hotel at 8 or 9 at night, we're like, that's hard work, man. And we get up at 5 o'clock and do it again. So I admire the whole team with 250 people that put the show together. We are like a family. I mean, Mindy Casting, the woman who casts every deal since the beginning of time. I don't even know her second name. I know her as Mindy Casting. And she has looked at hundreds of thousands of deals and chose which ones go on Shark Tank. So there you have it.
Well, forget, congratulations to all those 250 people, but the only person that matters right now is you, because I'm talking to you. You're Mr. Wonderful. And this is why I respect the royalty thing so much, because what you're saying to the entrepreneur is, well, do you believe in yourself? Because if you believe in yourself, the royalty is an easy deal.
Yeah, of course. But the royalty is about return of capital. We don't all agree on deal structure, but America has learned, as we as sharks have done over the decades, that there's all kinds of different ways to structure a deal. You can do debt, you can do venture capital, in straight equity, you can put a warrant on it, you can put a preference share, you can do all kinds of structure. In the beginning, we never talked about that. Now we do very complex deals. America has followed us. I care about return of capital first, not return on capital. If I never get my money back in a private deal, what's the point of doing it? So my structures tend to involve royalties. But I'll tell you one thing that everybody's figured out. I'm a unique investor. I've got millions of followers on social media. When I back a product and put it out there on all my platforms, I can drive customer acquisition costs down to zero. Most companies go out of business within 18 months because they're never able to get their customer acquisition costs online below the lifetime value of the customer. A fancy way of saying they go bankrupt advertising. I changed that metric. I'm able to get out there with my team and tell you the story of this product, this company, this entrepreneur, and change the whole dynamic of the business. Now, I don't do that for free. If you want Mr. Wonderful, you're going to pay for him. That's how it works.
If you had made a deal that the ring people had wanted, how much money would you have made?
Oh, don't make me sick. I mean,
sorry.
you know,
I'm sorry.
Now listen, having said all that, Jamie and I are now friends. We host a dinner every July 5th in Nantucket, where we get our families together, our friends, and we celebrate what we both created together. But he should have taken my $600,000. I would have made about $300 million on that deal. I'm so yes.
Wait, is that true? 300?
Oh, yeah. Because remember, my deal was debt and warrants. I was going to get equity, and the secret sauce to my equity, it couldn't be diluted because he kept raising money, but I was going to keep my points no matter what happened. But he was a greedy pig, and he didn't listen to me. And look what happened. He sold the business for $1.1 billion. But listen, I'm willing to make amends, and so we're friends.
That's good. Mike, do you have any questions for Mr. Wonderful?
I do. Because you were talking about confidence earlier, and the one thing that bothers me when I watch Shark Tank is every once in a while you guys get someone that at the end of their pitch, maybe it's not going well or whatever, and they break down and cry and talk about how hard they've worked and everything like that.
Oh, Mr. Wonderful, by the way, is a sneaky crier. He can cry. He's like Meryl Streep. He can cry on command.
They get to him sometimes too, and that's what I'm wondering.
Crying wonderful, I call him. You're the top crier on TV today, I think.
And I just think, like,
listen, I'm not heartless. I sometimes I really get moved. You know, I get caught up in the story. Remember, I don't see the cameras anymore. I'm just sitting in my seat listening to the pitch.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you can't get through the tank, if you're going to break down and start crying, you're fucked. Because the real world is in it.
That's what I'm saying.
That's such a lot. That's such a hardo answer from that. There's no way.
It's true. Look, what's this?
Mark Zuckerberg is one of the worst public speakers I've ever watched in my life. All right. And he's a billionaire, obviously Facebook, everything, metaverse. Like, he's a dummy. He couldn't walk through the Shark Tank. He'd get eaten alive. There's so many of these entrepreneurs that in the conference room are just idiots and sound like shit, myself included, but then they could make you money for sure. They could absolutely make you. That's a daunting experience.
You know, the way you got to look at it is money has no emotions. It doesn't care if you cry. It goes to the path of least resistance. It can't stand weakness because it means uncertainty. So if all of a sudden all you can do is say, please, please give me money, and you start crying, why would I ever do that? That's nuts.
Do you find that does it annoy you at all when somebody comes in and you know they're targeting Cuban or Lori or somebody, or do you not care?
No, I don't care. I mean, look, there's only one Mr. Wonderful.
Damn right. Fucking A on that.
You know, and that's the bottom line. I mean, you know, everybody asks me, who's your favorite shark? I say, Mr. Wonderful. It's the only guy I want to do business with. He's fantastic. Of
course. Well, who's your second favorite shark?
Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Who's your least favorite shark?
Oh, come on. I mean, you know, I don't want to say, but I got to tell you. No, I won't say.
Have you picked up on the fact that contestants' least favorite shark is Robert? Like, no,
this is Mike's theory. Mike's theory, Kevin. Yeah.
He will offer them the world, and they're like, I mean, what does Mr. Wonderful or Cuban have to say? Like, I don't really care.
He does get very annoyed, though. I like Robert. Yeah.
Look, it's you really have to understand what the way the chemistry works is. We're just in the moment. I mean, we're just in the moment. It's not years and years and years ago. You know, I don't know, 12 years ago, when Shark Tank. You know, for the first 3 years, Disney. There's a story about this. Bob Iger was the CEO of Disney that owned ABC. And here's what I heard through the grapevine, because Willow Bay is his wife. And Willow Bay,
broadcaster, yeah,
broadcaster, focus on business. Okay. So the story I heard, and I believe it to be true, is in season 3, when they canceled it, they said, okay, Shark Tank's not working. Let's cancel it. Bob goes home, talks to Willow and says, we're going to cancel that show, Shark Tank. She says, no, you're not. Our kids love that show. It's family values. It's about business. They're learning something. Get back on the phone and put it back on there. And I'm sure that's exactly what happened, because out of the blue, I got a phone call from Mark Burnett, and he says, you're back. I said, really? How'd that happen? He says, doesn't matter. Get your ass to Los Angeles. And so that kind of thing, that folklore, usually is true where there's smoke, there's fire, because she basically understood what was starting to happen in America, because we were going through the 2008 recession. And people started to believe in themselves as entrepreneurs. She caught the wave. The next season, we exploded. We had tens of millions of people watching us. And that's remarkable. And it's never stopped. I mean, each year, and in 42 countries. I was in Switzerland the other day. My stepfather lives in Geneva. And I got on a train to go to Zurich because I was going to fly to Abu Dhabi. And on this train, this couple comes up to me and says, are you the guy on Shark Tank? I said, yeah. And they said, you're the most hated man in Austria. I said, what? She said, yeah, you're so mean. I said, well, what are you talking about? I don't even know that they're showing the tape in Austria. And she says, we're just getting married. We're on our way to Zermatt. Can we take a picture with you? I said, sure, but I'm the most hated guy. She says, hey, just take the shot. So it was really interesting to see how global the platform has become. The American tape going all around the world. We're #1 in Dubai on Friday nights. Who knew?
Now, you guys are all sharks. You all have deals with ABC. Do you make more money or less money that you guys negotiate together? How does the pay? I know you're all executive producers. How does the payment work? How much do you make a year on that show? How much do the others make?
It's not
you're
the
a smart guy. You know how much everyone's making.
Yeah, I know, but it's not the payment per ep. That's not. This is a different kind of show, because here you are as a venture capitalist. We were all investors before we started Shark Tank, and the hardest challenge we had was deal flow. So there's two things to understand why that seat on Shark Tank is so powerful for an investor, because every guy and his dog wants to get on Shark Tank now. Everybody. You can't believe the number of celebrities that I get emails from saying, listen, I want to be a guest Shark next year. I mean, okay, great. But the bottom line is I have 100 million eyeballs watching my products and services. I've got money to invest. They're consumer goods and services. Very often we get all our money back the night it airs, okay? Because people love the product so much. And the secret, which nobody talks about, but this is my metric. When I'm doing a deal on Shark Tank and we're shooting it and we're in our 45th minute, the pitch is over. And let's say I did the deal and I watch the cast and crew steal all the product, come running up and grab it. I got a winner right there. Right there, because if all the samples get scooped up, like they come running onto the set, you know, they say cut, and it's all gone. Winner, chicken dinner, right there. And
what's the worst?
How I do it.
What's the worst product you've ever seen get a deal on Shark Tank?
This woman came out once and said she sang to a 5-gallon container, you know, like a water cooler container. She puts it in a tent in her backyard, and She spends 20 minutes singing to it in the tent, and it separates into 3 separate elixirs. 1 that reduces jealousy, 2, one that helps you fall in love, and the bottom third makes you rich. She sold it online for $25 in a tiny vial that you put around your neck, like, you know, Jolie had blood in her thing and all that kind of crap. So that sounded so stupid. I mean, just unbelievable. And so I, of course, said, that's stupid. She said, oh yeah? If it was 110 years ago and I came out here and I had some molasses, I poured cocaine in it and put it in a bottle, would you invest in it? I said, no, that's ridiculous. She said, that's Coca-Cola, bozo. So you just never know what you got. Now, I don't think selling BS elixirs to people is even legal. So of course I didn't invest in that. But that's the kind of stuff that you got to keep your ear open to, because you don't know. I remember Lori with that piece of crap sponge, Smiley Daddy, or Sponge Daddy.
Yeah.
You know, I leant over to her and said, "Do not invest in this. This is a piece of shit. You got to be out of your mind." She said, "No, it's not a piece of shit. I'm going to sell a ton of it." $50 million later. So I buy a lot of plastic crap too now.
What's the current relationship between you and Mark Cuban? Yeah, I don't see you guys interact much during the show, and you kind of seem like, I don't know about you, Mike, they seem like the two alphas on the show.
Oh, without a doubt.
It feels like there's not a rivalry, but I'm not sure what's the current state of the relationship.
You know, we have many deals together. I have a lot of respect for.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for Mark. We don't agree on anything, and that's okay, because we don't do structures the same way. But we get the same number of deals done. There's a deal I'm working on right now with Mark that we're going to go into together on, because imagine you've got an NBA owner that has a whole different channel of distribution. And there's the channels I have. I'm in every retail store in America and overseas as well. We both have powerful channels of distribution. Sometimes on a deal, it's better to work together, because particularly, you know, Mark and I looked at many different beverage deals, wine deals, things like that, because I'm not a greedy guy. If I think I can make something 10x with Mark or with Lori or with Damon, I've done deals with everybody, Barbara. If we think we can work together and enhance our probability of success, we're going to do it. We're not stupid. And we have so many deals. I mean, no one deal is going to make or break me anymore. I've got a massive portfolio of companies. And each year, and I'll tell you what's interesting, even today, this happened today, every morning, I get a call of total catastrophe from one of my companies. Oh, we're going bankrupt. We're getting sued. I'm going out of business. Please help me, yada, yada, yada. It's just brutal. And 15 minutes later, I get a phone call like baseball saying we're going to get acquired for $55 million. Same hour. So it's like a passion play of stuff rolling out every day. I've gotten used to the idea that this is a portfolio of just random outcomes. You just don't know what's going to happen. And you've got to just realize good, bad, and ugly. Poo-poo happens. That's what occurs here. But you stay the course, do the deals, find the best entrepreneurs, back them up. And one other thing I'll add, which is really remarkable, over this 14 years, 75% of my returns have come from the companies run by women. And look, I don't want to start, you know, gender warfare with a statement like this. I'd give money to a goat if I get a return. But women kill it on those Shark Tank deals. Like that Base Paws deal, that was Anna. That's a woman.
Right.
Blue Land, that's another woman, Sarah. These women are killers. You know that old adage. You want something done, give it to a busy mother.
Right. Your cupcake company, right?
Oh, killed it. We just sold it to Hickory Farms. Killed it. Yeah. I mean, that was the best return in Shark Tank history. I got my money back in 3 weeks, and it never stopped selling for years. It was incredible.
It's been years now. It's been, I think TV shows they tease like Sam and Diane. You remember Jim and Pam. You and Barbara had that kiss a few years ago. Are we going to have another passionate kiss between you two this year that will get people, I think, erotic and fired up all over America again? Can you promise that this year?
Spoil the live.
I can't do it. It took me 36 months to come back from being a piece of stone. Remember, I turned to stone.
So Friday. So what? 3 weeks from? Is that right? When's the date, Dave? The season premiere?
It is Friday, September 23rd.
Friday, yep. September 23rd. So final one before we let you go. So you tape all your episodes? You guys tape like 5 or 6 in a day, 2 in a day?
Oh, no.
1 in a day?
We've done as many as 14 in a day. It takes a day and a half to make a show. Not episodes. Remember a pitch.
Pitches.
You got to. When we try and do 12 pitches in a day, but you just don't know
How long
what's
it'll
going
take.
to happen. So you've got all these people from all around America that have flown in. There's because of COVID protocols, they're sequestered in a motel. They can't go outside. They're waiting. Their big day comes. They get onto the lot. So let's say 6 of those deals are sitting in the morning, after lunch, another 6 deals. And then we start. But we don't know what's going to happen. Some pitch may last 20 minutes, one will last 2 hours. You just don't know. And the last guy may get bumped to the next day. So you just, because after 8 o'clock, we're like, God, we're done. We're cooked. We've been awake since. And the women have to come in for hair and makeup at 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning. I don't have a hair problem here, so I can come in a little later.
Sure.
So, that's how it is, but that takes time too. But then there's the pitches. So we try and do the whole thing. And we have a guest shark. They may be here for a day or two. We try and do all their pitches. Because if we're going to get a guest shark that's big in clothing or in makeup or something like that, they're probably going to see a bunch of makeup deals in that because it kind of ties to them. But you just don't know. And so every day is completely random. And then at the end of the day, even though we've had a wicked fight, I'll say, okay, where's dinner? And we'll all end up at Avra or something outside on a round table and have dinner and then go to bed. I mean, we hit LA every night. It's a lot of fun.
So, all right. So September 23rd, season 14 of Shark Tank premieres. Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, really is the heart and soul of it. Really is the heart and soul of television today. He's my favorite TV character today. The great Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary. Hopefully we can come back and we'll talk to you again. Okay.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
All right, Kevin. Good talking to you.
It is really like the #1 show I could think of that like kids and parents watch together.
For
What
sure.
else is
It's the
out
best
there
family
like that?
Stranger
show,
Things,
yeah.
I think, is one of those shows.
Like I'm not saying obviously it's different content, but it's like it is TGIF now.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
there's no sitcom or family friendly show that people
Not that's
sit down
super
and watch
popular,
anymore.
no.
nothing I know about.
I
No.
kind of watched like Family Matters or whatever with my parents.
Not
back in the
really,
day.
though, right?
Not really, but
I watched TGIF, I think, with my mom and brother. If I
Yeah.
remember right.
yeah.
Huh.
But it's just interesting how like it is. He's right. Like it is a business show. You're learning things at a young age on it. And he's like, by the way, he's now like Susie Orman. Like he is the personal finance guy of
Oh, he's played it great.
the world. Like unbelievably well.
Played it great.
If you like that video, wait till you see my next one. Don't forget to click right over here and subscribe.